Hey there! I'm excited tonight to do my first review of a barley wine. So this is an American barley wine by Lagunitas, so it's BJCP category 19C, and it should be really great. I'm actually pretty excited about this, except I want to know why, what is this, 10.2? 10.6% alcohol by volume beer comes in such big bottles. What's up with that? But here it is. It says it's 69.39 IBUs, which is, right about the top of my preferred level. But I did read in the BJCP style guideline before I started this video that the range for IBUs for this particular style is between 10. Wait, hold on. Did I make that up? Oh, is between 50 and 120. So 120, holy moly. Okay. So we're not in that category, which is great. So barley wine is actually a pretty old style. It's the oldest English style, or excuse me, it's a English strong ale, but done in American style. So I'm sure that you can derive from that it means more hops. So let's give this a shot. Wow, surprisingly sweet. It's got a nice complexity to it. Almost a fruitiness, like cherries. But it's got a nice malt backbone. Does have some hop bitterness. And I can't quite pick out what that bitterness, what that hoppiness is. Maybe a citrus, but it's kind of overpowered by a fruity smell. So that is great. Smells really, really good. So color-wise, this is a pretty dark amber, almost a brown. It poured with a pretty good head. It looks like it's just mildly carbonated, not deeply carbonated. And it's pretty clear, no cloudiness. Flavor. Wow, that's like a flavor roller coaster. There is so much going on in this beer. It tastes a lot like the English IPA that I brewed recently, which is, I think that's funny, but nonetheless. There's a definite malty sweetness to this. It's very sweet. Almost like it has brown sugar in it, sweet, which is pretty intense. I guess that's appropriate for the style, but it finishes kind of dry, which is interesting. So that's that hoppiness that we were expecting. It's almost as if the hop flavor kind of gets overshadowed by the malt sweetness, which is really interesting. So it kind of dries off into this vapor at the very end of the flavor. Pretty interesting. I think I think it's interesting. It says hop bitterness may range from moderately strong to aggressive, while strongly malty. The balance should always seem bitter. So this might be on the sweeter side for this particular style, but I feel like what it makes up for it, I think it might be a little bit on the sweeter side for this particular style. I'm not getting as much hop out of it as I was expecting, but at 70 IBUs, I think with such a strong malt characteristic that hoppiness is going to be a little overwhelmed. I think it does have some alcohol presence to it, kind of like just a little bit in the back of my throat. But not intensely. It's actually a pretty enjoyable beer. I was nervous about trying it. I thought it was going to be a lot like an IPA, but it's actually very drinkable. The difference is that I can feel that there's alcohol in my belly. Like I get a little bit of alcohol burn, but that like, oh, you just drank some serious alcohol going on in my belly. So definitely not a session ale. That's, I guess, not at all its purpose, but very drinkable. Okay, so mouthfeel wise, it's a pretty full bodied beer. Pretty full bodied. Easy on the carbonation. It's got a nice kind of smooth feel, but and just pleasant carbonation, but not overly carbonated. So that's kind of my preference for beer, is a low to moderate carbonation. So I really like the carbonation level. Overall impression, this is actually a lot more drinkable than I thought it would be. Like, for a while, it's been sitting in my refrigerator for a while, and I was nervous to try it. It says the first sip is for thirst, the second for pleasure, the third is for knowing, and the fourth is for pure madness. So, you know, at a third of a pint we know that I'm crazy, but it's enjoyable. So I definitely recommend that you give this a try. And even if you're not an IPA drinker, I recommend that you give this a try, because it's surprisingly drinkable and enjoyable regardless of the alcohol by volume. So a little bit of history about this particular style. It's usually the strongest ale offered by a brewery, and in recent years many commercial examples are now vintage dated. So they can be cellared and kept around. And there's something else. Oh, so Imperial IPAs tend to fall into that category as well, where they can be cellared. It says it's often associated with winter or holiday season, heavier beers during the winter. This is actually called 2015 Olde GnarlyWine style ale, and so this would reveal to me that it's relatively fresh and new. Oops. It says, usually we package our ales within 15 days of brewing. This one we aged in tanks for over a month. So it suggests, why not buy 3? Drink one now, keep one in the fridge for a month, and one for another year. So that would be actually really interesting to do. This is such an enjoyable wine. I'm really curious to see how it would condition in the bottle. And I think it's good of them to recommend that you keep it in the fridge. Because I think beer needs to be refrigerated in order to stay fresh. So look that up if that's something that you're interested in, whether or not you can cellar beer like you can wine at 52 degrees or whatever, or if it needs to be refrigerated. So that would be worth looking into. So comments on this particular style: the American version of barley wine tends to have a greater emphasis on hop bitterness, flavor, and aroma than the English barley wine, and it often features American hop varieties. Differs from Imperial IPA in that the hops are not extreme, the malt is more forward, and the body is richer and more characterful. So I agree on all those fronts. That is exactly how this beer is described. So great job to Lagunitas on this. Let me know if this is a style that you enjoy. I would be interested in hearing some other good recommendations. Some good examples, commercial examples of the American barley wine category include Sierra Nevada Bigfoot, Rogue Old Crustacean, Avery Hog Heaven Barley Wine, Anchor Old Foghorn, Stone Old Guardian. I see a theme with the old stuff here. Is this called Old? No. Wait. It is, but it's called Old. O-L-D-E. Okay. Hair of the Dog, Doggy Claws, Lagunitas, Olde GnarlyWine. So here we are. Smutty Nose Barley Wine, and Flying Dog Horn Ale. So this makes it onto the commercial examples list, which is evident in the fact that it's such a drinkable beer. So let me know if you've given it a try and what you think. I would love to hear from you, and share with me if you have some barley wine recommendations. Now I'm not nearly as afraid of them, and I would like to give some more a try. Thank you so much for watching.